I'm going to do 3 problems on this front sheet where it says don't ask why. Number 15, 20, and 24. Let's go ahead and start with number 15. We're solving for y. Draw your line. So when you do your table, do, you're asking yourself what is happening to the y. Okay, there is a -1 in front of that y, -1. So it's being multiplied by -1 right now. Multiplied by -1. See how there's a -1 in front of it? Okay, and then this x, there's also a 1, but it's a +1. So it's being added by 1x. So the first thing you're going to do is get rid of the x by subtracting 1x from both sides. So -1x, -1x. So the 1x can cancel. Now remember, these two, even though they both say -1, they're not the same because this one has an x, this one doesn't have an x. They're not the same. So you just leave it like that. You say -1 minus 1x, -1 minus 1x. You just write it down. Equals -1y. The last step is to undo the multiplying of the -1, so you have to divide by -1 everywhere. Divide this by -1, divide this by -1, divide this by -1, so that the -1 can cancel. So that leaves you with just y equals. Now, you need to know that -1 divided by -1 in the calculator will give you a +1. And again, -1 divided by -1 gives you a +1, and don't forget your x, which is the same thing as y equals 1 plus x. Okay, same thing. Problem number 20. Again, we're solving for y. So when you do the table do, you need to be asking yourself what is happening to the y. The y is being multiplied by 3, and is a +2x, so they added 2x. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get rid of that plus 2x by subtracting 2x from both sides. So -2x minus 2x cancels that one. And remember, these two are not the same. This one has an x, this one doesn't have an x. 18 minus 2x is 18 minus 2x. Bring down the +3y, bring down your equal sign. And the last step is to divide by 3 because it's being multiplied. So if you divide by 3, it gets rid of the 3. Divide this by 3 and divide this by 3. Y equals 18 divided by 3 is 6. Negative, don't forget there's a minus, -2 divided by 3 gives you a -2/3 in the calculator, x. Don't forget, when you put it in the calculator, make sure that you do -2 divided by 3. It's going to give you a decimal, do math, enter, and it gives you -2/3. And then you put the x here. You do not put the x in the calculator. And the last one I'm going to do with y'all is number 24. Remember, you're doing the rest of them by yourself. Okay, you're solving for y. So you do your table, do. What is happening to this y? Okay, because the y is on the other side now. It's on the right side. What is happening to y? The only thing that's happening to it is that they added a 2. So they're adding 2, nothing else. There's no number here, so it's not being multiplied. In order to get rid of the plus 2, you have to minus 2. So I'm going to minus 2 here, and I'm going to minus 2 over here, and I'm going to put it with the one that it looks alike. This 2 doesn't have an x, this 7 doesn't have an x, so I would put it under the 7 because these two look alike. Again, this one doesn't have an x, this one doesn't have an x. So now I can really subtract these two, and that would give me a positive 5. Bring down the x, bring down the equal sign, bring down the y, and you are done. Okay, this one was a little different than the rest of them, but hopefully you were able to understand it.